that jumper floating, driving to the basket. I said, we got him. We got him. We don't got him.
Just before you jump on me and ridicule me, I'm the first to say Pandemic P was at it again last night in Boston. Paul George was George Paul last night in Boston. He went 1 for 9 in the fourth quarter without Kawhi and 0 for 5 from 3. And now Pandemic P in his last 4 fourth quarters is a combined 3 of 22 and 1 for 13 from 3. So he's actually trying to do his best LeBron impression over the last 4 fourth quarters. Way to go, Paul.
For 13?
Yeah, but I thought he said, he heard all that talk last year that rubbed him the wrong way.
I thought so too. Yeah, it's rubbing me the wrong way
but that was a long, long time ago. So we're going to talk about that guy. We're also going to talk about what did and didn't happen for the Lakers and LeBron. But today we begin by the latest in Dallas. And listen up, guys. There's good news and bad news coming out of the Dak contract talks, according to NFL Network's Jane Slater. The good news, the negotiations between the team and Prescott have been more productive as of late. The bad news for Cowboys fans? Well, apparently Dak wants to be paid, quote, right behind Patrick Mahomes, who signed a 10-year, $500 million extension last summer. And while Dallas feels their offer is, quote, respectable, they're clearly not in that ballpark yet. So, Shannon, how will this news impact the public perception of this stalemate right now?
Skip, you and I talked about this on Monday, how both sides have done a great job of saying we don't really know exactly what Dak wants. We know he wants to be somewhere around 40, but we're not really sure. Now we're really sure. Now, I can assure you, Dak Prescott and his side, Todd France, have not told anyone the exact numbers Dak is looking for. So I feel with a very high degree of certainty, this came from the other side. And again, Dak was winning the PR battle, Skip, because he's made relatively quiet. It's been people like yourself and I, and on other networks that's talking about Dak should get paid. This is what Dak's worth. But Dak in his camp hasn't said anything. And then all of a sudden, boom, Dak wants somewhere between $43 and $44 million. Skip, what the Cowboys must understand is that Deshaun Watson, all these other quarterbacks, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Skip, they signed these deals with 4 years left. They had the 4th year, the 5th year option, and 2 franchise tags. So theoretically, even Patrick Mahomes had 4 years before he could ever get to the market. So the question is, if Patrick Mahomes was in Dak Prescott's situation currently, Skip, what would Patrick Mahomes be worth if he was in the exact same situation as Dak Prescott? 60 million, 63, 65? Well, Dak is saying those guys gave their team discounts relative because they were under contract for 4 more years and they took long-term security. I'm not under contract. I fulfilled it. Not only did I play the contract out in its totality, I played another year on the franchise tag. So, Skip, if the franchise tag is $38 million, how do you expect the guy to take a 4 or 5 year deal for $36 or $37 million? You know that's not going to happen. So you got to stop looking at it and say, well, Dak is not a top 5 quarterback and he's not this. Skip, Jared Goff was making at one point more than Aaron Rodgers. So was Carson Wentz. It's called the market. And when you sign, you look at when J.J. Watt signed, we thought that was a huge number. And then all of a sudden there were 10 guys on the defensive side of the football that was making more than J.J. Watt. The agents are not going to allow these teams to try to suppress the market. That's what teams try to do. I don't blame them. I'm trying to keep costs down, Skip, while earning maximum profit on the back end. The players and their representatives said, no, we're going to keep this ball moving. We're going to keep it rolling. So I don't know if he's going to get $43, $44 million, Skip, but I feel very comfortable as I sit here today. Dak Prescott's going to get $40+ million. It might be $40 million and $1. It might be $40 million and $100,000. But Dak Prescott is going to get more than $40 million annually if he signs a long-term deal with the Cowboys. I believe he plays up under the franchise tag, and I believe he hits the road next year to get the payday that he deserves.
Okay. Back to Jenny's question. How will this, what I consider breaking news, impact the public perception of this stalemate between Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones. We spoke about it yesterday, and we said we're shooting in the dark because nobody knows a figure. Nobody has anything to shoot at that Dak wants X. We never knew for a year and, like a year and a half, we haven't had anything to shoot at. But I have been telling you for a good year and a half that he does want something up in the Patrick Mahomes echelon. Something, as Jane Slater, NFL Network, reported, something close to Patrick Mahomes' money. I don't know exactly the dollar figure, but I think it's well north of 40. I think he wants 4 years that would average something just beneath Patrick Mahomes' 45. So maybe 4 years that would average $44 million. It's a ton of money, and it's going to dramatically impact, I believe, Cowboy Nation's perception of this. I don't know how many people outside Cowboy Nation really care about how much Dak Prescott makes, but obviously I'm a lifelong true blue, dyed-in-the-wool, the metallic blue wool Dallas Cowboy fanatic, and this hurts my heart because now I know pretty much for sure, because I do trust Jane Slater and her reporting, and you're probably right, Shannon, it probably came from the Jerry Stephen Jones side of this, because we're getting toward a D-Day here. We're getting toward another moment of fish or cut bait. Are you going to tag him again at $37.7 million or try to get a deal done? And obviously the situation is now desperate enough that one side has finally leaked some at least idea of what Dak is demanding. And it's something close to Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, some dollar figure, Skip. And the thing is that when I look at this, Skip, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, you had a whole year to try to be working on this behind the scenes, Skip. Obviously, Dak could not sign a long-term deal because once the July 15th deadline had passed, you're unobligated under the play up under the franchise tag. But Skip, you can be working behind the scenes thinking like, okay, guys, the first opportunity we get, what's a number? Give me a number. Let's start working on something, building towards something that when free agency starts and next year, the next league year is we're ready to go, we can have this thing ironed out, dot an I here, cross a T there, a little language here or there. But Skip, it's almost like we're starting from scratch again. It's like, okay, Dak, what do you want? Well, you know what Dak wants. Skip, he's not going to play for the average of the franchise tag. The franchise tag is roughly $38 million. You're going to have to exceed that in a long-term deal by at least $2 to $3 million. So $40, $41 million. I don't believe Dak turns down a 4-year, $165 million deal with about 100, with at the time of signing, he gets $90 million. I don't believe Dak turns that down. But I also don't believe Dak is going to give them a discount because let me tell you what Dak has seen, Skip. Dak has seen, since he signed with the Cowboys, he's seen that offensive line get maximum value. He saw Zeke Elliott get maximum value. He saw Amari Cooper. He saw Jalen Smith. He saw D. Law. Everyone has got their market value except Dak. And Dak says, hold on, you're not going to market correct my paycheck because maybe some of those guys didn't fulfill the obligation that you thought. I'm going to get mine. So this is where we are, Skip, and I do believe, and to Jenny's original point, maybe some of the fans, like that.